Big game, big time feel. I think that was, I'm going to be honest, I think that was the best, most anticipated game Clemson's had from the past 20 years.
Dang, no, it was. In terms of like the hype built around it, it was.
I mean,
that was crazy. Like walking, because I think the game was at 5. We normally get to the gym at like 12:31, and there were already lines out there outside the arena. That was insane. Like that was by far the most packed, lit game, like most anticipated game by far that I've ever played into.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't lose that game.
I
mean, you could, but you can't do that.
Right. Can't
sold out crowd.
Yeah, sold out crowd. That's why yesterday hurt, because it was just like, dang, man, the city really showed out for us, and then we came up short. But yeah, those hurt. Yeah, still a great game, but it's still like, dang, we ain't come through like we were supposed to. But it is what it is, man. We'll have some more left to make them happy.
Yeah, that Duke game, that was crazy. I remember you mentioned there was lines out there from like noon. The game was at 5. I tried going. Right, I showed up at like 2:30. I was just chilling, and I was like, "Nah,
it's not happening."
There was like 10,000 people just standing out there.
Outside waiting. It was crazy.
Crazy.
Seeing that was actually insane. Like that was the first time I've ever seen lines outside of Little John, and I grew up going to Little John all the time. So to see them lines like that was wild, especially to know that like we play a big part in it, in the history, in this historic season that we haven't so far. Like obviously, hopefully we can finish the year out strong and. Like this season goes down in the history books, but at the same time, like the start we've had has been unreal.
Yeah. So being in that game, you had a huge impact in that Duke game. Huge impact. You had one of the biggest plays of and one.
Yeah, the and one. Yeah,
late in the second half. Just you mentioned you grew up going to go to Clemson games. You've known Brevin Galloway. You've gone to his camps before for Clemson. You're from Anderson. Being able to not only play in that game and win that game, but know that you yourself had a huge impact on that game. Like, what does that mean to you? Was that bigger than? Was that one of the biggest games you played in?
Definitely, just because I'm from here, and just to be able to say that like I helped Clemson like beat Duke at home is crazy. Like that's something I'm gonna be able to show my kids and their kids and all that stuff. So, and that's something I'm definitely gonna talk about. And I don't realize probably how big it was now, but like when years go by and like 10, 15 years go by, and I'm like, dang, like I really was able to play against Duke and home, like where I grew up, and beat them on our home court. Like that's something I'm definitely going to be talking about for sure. So yeah, because obviously like if I had 2 points and we still won it would be lit, but not the same feeling as having the game that I did. So I mean that was just definitely one of my most memorable nights for sure.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. I ended up just hanging out like some restaurant, and everyone was packing it, and it was crazy. Like everyone was going nuts. Everyone was going nuts after the game, and they obviously rushed the court at Little John.
Yep.
I mean, have you been a part of a court rush like that?
Yeah, I have the year. Yeah, my year in Charleston, whenever we won the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, we stormed the court. Yep.
Was this bigger than that? Like, do you think there was
by far? Like we won the championship. That was to get to the tournament. But like you said, like the hype and the anticipation behind that Clemson Duke game was by far like the biggest. Like going into that game, it's like it's a must win. But at the same time, I knew it was going to be probably one of my most fun games I ever played in there.
Yeah. So in that game, we talked about that and one opportunity you had. You obviously converted on it late in the game. But plays like that where you score and the crowd just erupts, right? They get so fired up. Like, what is that? What's that moment like? I mean, I can't say I've had an experience like that, right? Where you're playing in front of a sold-out crowd and you get a crucial basket.
I mean, the biggest thing is, like, whenever I was earlier in my career, I never had a lot of clutch buckets like that because I never was in those positions. So now that I'm, like, older and I'm obviously called upon to, like, do those things in those type of moments, like, I really just cherish those moments just because, like, those are the positions that I always wanted to be in. So, like, whenever I finally got the N1, then I was able to just sit on the floor and, like, flex and look at the crowd, like, and just able to soak all that in. I feel like that's the best part about it because, like, we work so hard as athletes on a day-to-day basis trying to overcome injuries, overcome adversity, practice, weights, going through all this stuff. Like, so whenever that moment finally does hit that you can actually, like, live in it and cherish it, I feel like you gotta take advantage of it and just be yourself, be goofy, childish, whatever it is, whatever you want to do, you got to just make sure you do it. Because, like, that N1, that only happened for, like, 10 seconds. Like, I only had, like, maybe, like, 5 seconds to, like, enjoy it and cherish it before it was on to the next play. So, I mean, that's just one of those things you got to just take as it comes.
Yeah. How much do you feed off of the energy of the crowd?
I like the energy of the crowd a lot, especially like whenever I don't really hear it when I score, but whenever my teammates score, I pay a lot more attention to the crowd because I guess I wasn't in the mental place. If I'm like scoring, I'm probably like focusing on different things. But whenever I see my teammates score and the crowd gets going, it's a really energizer just because like obviously you see the crowds amped up and you can actually like visually see the crowd jumping, like being lit, especially the way Little John's been recently with the fans and I like the colors. I like the little things they do with the colors, like the purple and the little stripe out they had. Like that makes it lit too, especially for pictures. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
So it looks good though. But yeah, the crowd has been lovely, man, and that's what makes college basketball what it is.
Yeah, definitely.